What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Heavy Hitters. I am your host, Michael Grady. Today's topic is going to be a controversial topic, y'all. It's going to be talking about capital punishment, eye for an eye. I picked this topic because, it kind of set on me in reference to some people may feel that capital punishment is brutal. Some people may feel like it's inhumane. I have my own views on what I feel about capital punishment, but right now I'm gonna use that for my final call at the end of this segment. But capital punishment is it's a touchy subject. I just recently started coming to light with some of the people that I talked to about this. We actually had serious dialogue and serious conversation on how we feel about this. To me, when I think of capital punishment, I think of capital punishment just like the title says for itself, an eye for an eye. I feel like personally, if you take a life, you should be able to sacrifice your own, especially if it's with the intent to be malicious and just downright evil. Okay, we have situations in the United States where we notice certain people orchestrated, many murders of innocent people. Not even a couple years ago, even with the Boston marathon bombing, that was a situation that I just feel like how can you sit there and do that to people it's a normal thing that people do all the time in Boston. Everybody know about the marathons, but it was two gentlemen that orchestrated this. It was sad because the fact that a lot of people lost their lives to this. And it was unfortunate because nobody was expecting it. It was a nice day. People were just having a good time. And all of a sudden, these massive explosions with these dirty bombs. In case you don't know what dirty bombs are what was used in the Boston marathon bombing. I mean, these guys had like crock pots with ball bearings, nails. And when they get detonated, these bombs are deadly, like straight up dangerous. So these guys actually took it upon themselves to come and do this on a glorious day and it changed people's lives forever. I mean, I don't know the actual number of people that were killed, but I know over 200 people were injured in this, and some of them maimed, for life. I mean, some people can sit there and justify the fact that this individual right here, which is totally disrespectful what he did, he took that upon himself and just made it look like life didn't mean anything. So for somebody like that, capital punishment for a person like this needs to be granted, okay? Because he took it upon himself. Not only did he disregard life itself, but he showed no care whatsoever. Another situation with the gentleman from South Carolina. I don't even want to say his name because I don't respect him, but the guy from South Carolina that went into a house of worship. We know who this individual is. Like I said, I don't want to say his name. I don't want to give him the credit. But he went into a house of worship and killed 9 people. What was his mindset of when he was thinking to go in this church of God and take the lives of 9 innocent people that welcomed him in? Like I said, it's a touchy subject, y'all, so bear with me. I don't want to get in my feelings, but when I see stuff like this, not only I don't want to make it a race thing because we know what the ramifications was. We know that he was a white supremacist, but the fact that he just went into this sanctuary of God and killed these beautiful 9 souls, it's no explanation for this at all. So back to my question again, with capital punishment, eye for an eye, like as a taxpayer, I'm gonna be real honest with you. As a taxpayer, I wouldn't want to give this guy the luxury of walking around day in, day out, knowing what he did. As a taxpayer, I have to pay for this man to walk every day, regardless. Even if the trial is still going right now. Even if this guy gets life in prison, not to mention the other gentleman, even if he gets life in prison, we as American taxpayers are responsible for this guy's well-being. Do you feel like that's fair? I don't. Because I work hard for my money and I shouldn't have to give my taxpayer money to individuals like this or like this, especially when they do things like that. So for the people that feel like capital punishment is inhumane, I get that. I understand that. certain forms of the death penalty, like I have a diagram right here. You have several different forms of the death penalty. You have hangings, you have lethal injections, you have electrocutions, you have the gas chamber, and you have the firing squad. That last one to me makes me think like I'm going back into colonial times. But you have certain states that are catering to these type of death sentences as it should be accepted. Now, I'm speaking only for the people that feel like capital punishment is inhumane. I personally, when I see this right here, when I see this picture right here, the electric chair, that's old Sparky. In case you people didn't know what that was, that's old Sparky, the electric chair. And for anybody that knows who this guy is right here, this is the governor of Virginia. I don't know what he's thinking, but I hope he don't bring that into Virginia. Because like I said, it's certain things that I see people when they go through, like, granted, you are innocent until proven guilty. But for the fact that if you do a crime with the malicious intent to harm others, just like I said, an eye for an eye, if you do that crime, you got to expect what you expect. Plain and simple. Like I said, the whole definition for the eye for an eye, or the law of retaliation, and the principle that a person who has injured another person is to be penalized to a similar degree by the injured party. So with that being said, I can't justify how people feel, but that definition speaks volume. Okay, so if I feel like capital punishment is wrong in the United States, then go somewhere else. If you do a crime, I only have certain stipulations to where, granted, capital punishment needs to be given down, hands down. If you kill a child, if you kill a senior citizen, a hate crime that result in someone dying, and I'll even go as further as saying sheer negligence. And what I mean when I say sheer negligence on that, if you're driving, okay, say you go out on a night in the town, you're driving, you go out and you have a drink, 2 drinks, 3 drinks, 4 drinks. The point of the matter is you get drunk, okay? So if you get drunk and get in your vehicle and a family's coming home from a nice vacation and all of a sudden, bam, that family is gone. You took it upon yourself to get in that vehicle knowing you knew damn well that you cannot drive your car home, but you took it upon yourself and you took out a family of 5 in one shot. You mean to tell me right now you wouldn't feel some type of way as an individual? In my heart, I would be devastated if I knew that my family was killed by a drunk driver off of his sheer negligence. That's the sad thing, that we give people the benefit of a doubt, people. We give people the benefit of a doubt, but sometimes you can make bad judgments on your decision making. So I just feel like with most people, when they cry, when you feel the pain of people when they lose a loved one to someone else's own evil judgment, that is the sad part, people. That's the sad part we have to deal with in this society today. I take full ownership knowing that I've even experienced a loved one being tragically killed. And when I was younger, this happened years ago. When I was younger, when my cousin was killed, when I was younger, I had that, of course I had the hurt in my heart because I lost a loved one, but I also had the anger in my heart because I feel like the person that killed my cousin should lose his life as well. Does it make it right? I mean, someone speculate on that, but as for me, as my own personal opinion, I just feel like capital punishment is in its right order. Like I said, you do the crime, you got to do the time. And I'm not talking about time behind bars, because I'm a person to where, like I said earlier, I don't believe in paying taxpayer money for people's negligence. Even with this illustration right here, when I was talking about the drunk driver, if you drive drunk and you kill my wife and son, I promise you, you will be able to apologize to them in person. That to me is strong. So that's why I use that illustration as far as saying, if a drunk driver has the capacity to go get in his car and drive a car and kill a family of 4, you knew what you was doing. A vehicle is just as bad as a gun. It's a deadly weapon. We see this every time when we hear about mass murders. We hear about this all the time, people. Like, When are we going to change? When are we going to wake up? But we have people in position to make decisions for the citizens that live in this country. They right here. Yes, the Supreme Court. Supreme Court make the rules of the land. Supreme Court make decisions that could affect every American in this country. So if you feel like the Supreme Court needs to get online with certain things in which, like I said, they have their own opinion, then fine. We put them in that position for a reason. We trust that they're going to make decisions best for us and make decisions best for this country. Now, I know there's certain things and stuff, because there was a case that I was reading online about certain stimulations to where what if there was a certain loophole, what if someone can get off on it when it's dealing with a murder? And it's funny that I say that because I'm reading this case right here. It was a case, I think the case was Atkins versus Virginia, and it was in August of 1996. The defendant, Daryl Atkins, and a friend, William Jones, abducted and killed a 21-year-old serviceman. They stole his wallet for $60, people. $60. And drove him to the ATM to withdraw more money because they wasn't satisfied with the $60. Now, here's the stipulation right here, people. Mr. Atkins, okay, had an IQ of 59. According to his defense, they basically said this guy was mentally retarded. Okay, he's mentally retarded. But yet, you have an accomplice with you and you kill someone for $60. $60. This man's life was worth $60 for him to lose his life. So I'm trying to figure out, why do people feel like if you're going to sit there and justify killing, how can you sit there and justify the fact that just because he may be mentally unstable up here, then he gets a slap on the wrist? Why would we do that? Why? I don't see why we could inherit this thing with the fact that we're supposed to give people a pass that has mental issues. And then it came to find out the guy didn't even have a mental issue. He played the system. And guess what he did? He was on death row for the murder of this serviceman, and he ended up getting life in prison. Something that I told you earlier that I do not want to do. Just like millions of you, y'all don't want to pay taxpayer money on a criminal. You don't want to pay taxpayer money on someone that took the life of an innocent person. We all are accountable for our own actions. I take accountable for my actions every day. I follow the laws every day. If these people don't inherit the responsibility of what presented to them from the country, and also the laws that are presented by these individuals right here, you're a danger to society. I feel like even with you being in jail, you're still a danger to society, because most of these people that commit these heinous crimes are major manipulators. Charles Manson was one of them. He manipulated women from outside of the walls to do his dirty deed because he couldn't do it. And even with the fact that, and like I said, I don't want to make this individual a project of my show, because I don't want to give him the credit that so many people have given before, even with the media. But the whole intent with him is the fact that he had hate written all over him. And he felt like he had to take lives, not one life, not two lives, but 9, to make himself feel appreciated. Why in the world would we want somebody like this walking on God's green earth? God is seeing everything right now from all these killings that's going on in the U.S. Matter of fact, that's going on in the world, period. Shedding a tear, because this is the fact that when we don't address certain things, and if we don't take control of what our actions are, a lot of this thing is going to happen. You look at it right now, mass shootings are on the rise right now. Okay? We have to give people the credit of, benefit of a doubt. They have to serve. They have to go to court, innocent until proven guilty. But what if they are found guilty? Do we need to give them 20? Do we need to give them 30? Do we need to give them life in prison? Even when we found them guilty, the evidence was stacked against them. Even when they go to prison, they still on my payroll. I can't stand for that. I don't like that. But most people feel like, you know what? He learned his lesson. He'll never see daylight. But guess what, though? The same person that he took the life of never will see daylight. Matter of fact, the same person that lost their life will never walk again. Matter of fact, the same person that he took from my family, we will never get to know anything else about him because his actions were callous. People, this is the world that we live in right now. I hate to say it, but until we get a grip on how we're supposed to be more accountable for our own actions, things like this right here is going to happen all the time. All the time. Mass murders, all the time. And people don't even have the sense to just sit there and tell this guy, like, I don't know what he was thinking when he did this. I mean, it was something dealing with the Iraq and Afghanistan thing. So what? Does that give you the right to take another life? No, it doesn't give you the right to take another person's life just because you have your ideological issues or your religious issues in reference to what you stand for and what we may or may not believe. You take in ownership by taking a life. So in fairness, with my own opinion on how I feel about capital punishment, I think it's warranted. I think it's deserved. When you take a life, you should sacrifice your own. Especially, like I said earlier, with the fact that you have children, okay? You have elderly people, all right? You even have, I think it's the anniversary coming up for Orlando, the LGBTQ community. That is a hate crime. And that was all spewed out of hate. For what? I have the slightest idea. But there is no reason why the perpetrator of all these crimes that were committed should walk. And even if they get 99 years in jail, so what? They still here. You're not a positive example for our society. You're contributing to the negativity that's always been going on for years in. When are we going to wake up, people? When are we going to change? When are we going to accept the fact that when you commit something so brutal, so evil, you have to take accountability for it? The people that you put in that ground, they can't do anything. And that's the sad part. I get sick and tired of watching the news day in, day out, seeing someone that was brutally killed or murdered, and then I see people with this illustration on their face like they don't care. This is a clear example of somebody who don't care the fact that they killed a 6-year-old kid. Why should I care about your well-being when you don't care about the people that you sacrifice? It's sad, but I just can't wrap my arms around. Anybody want to say that you should be able to forgive, Mike? Why should I forgive someone when they didn't have to do it in the first place? I can't forgive someone like that. That's the anger that I feel from within. And the satisfaction that I will feel, and this is only me, I'm not speaking for everyone else, but the satisfaction that I will feel is the fact that you sacrifice my loved one, won't you do yourself a justice and do it to yourself? So with the whole capital punishment issue, I take that and I applaud it. Keep doing it. Send a message. That was what I thought. I mean, I thought when people went on death row, they knew that's basically they signing their ticket. Like, yeah, I know I took a life. So in retrospect, for me taking a life, I should give my own. Matter of fact, I don't even think you should even have a choice. You shouldn't even have a choice on if you want to die while you're in custody. You shouldn't even have a choice. Let the family pick your poison. The family should be able to pick your poison because you hurt them. Like I said, people are like, they just don't care about life in general. And I don't want to pick on the young generation because I know people are going to say, well, it's not my generation. I'm 43 years old. It's not my generation. Well, guess what? It started from somewhere. and it's trending year in, year out. So how are we going to educate ourselves, and how are we going to make certain things come to fruition? We put people in this building, okay? We put people in this building, and we have senators and lawmakers that want to abolish capital punishment. Why? Let that be a loved one of yours. Would you say the same thing? I guarantee you wouldn't, because that's pain that you have to feel internally. That's pain that you're going to see every day when you walk by and you see a picture of a loved one that was killed. That's pain that you have to endure when you have to tell that child that was left without a parent that they will no longer see their parent again. Okay? I never felt like I never been in a situation where if I had to look at someone in the courtroom that I know took a loved one from me, I never been in that position, but I know myself. I know that I cannot, it'll be overbearing, especially if I hear a verdict to where he got a slap on the wrist. That's not acceptable, people. And the whole topic of today, capital punishment needs to stay. Capital punishment is not inhumane. Capital punishment is not brutal. What is the fact that the persons that committed these atrocities, those are the people that we need to do away with, not any of our loved ones. Our loved ones are here trying to make ends meet, trying to make an honest living, trying to do things right, trying to abide by the law. But we have some people that just don't feel like the law is in their repertoire. I stand for the law. I respect the law. I know police right now, are getting a bad rep. I don't want to sit there and condone it, because all police are not bad. You have bad apples. That don't make the whole police bad, people. Let's give them a little bit the benefit of a doubt. You have bad apples anywhere. Okay? So for people coming hard on the police, let's tone it down a little bit. Let's tone it down a little bit. They're out here risking their lives day in, day out. But for the bad apples that's all working in the department, that's hiding behind the shield, any crime that you commit and it causes for you to lose a loved one, I don't feel like you should get a pass. Just because you're a police officer, you're a human being just like everyone else. So I think most people I think it's kind of like on the fence on how we feel about capital punishment. Or is it how we feel about capital punishment, or the method that they use with capital punishment? That's where I think we have a divide. Could there be other means of capital punishment? What means do you need? I just listed like six of them. Take your pick. Because if anyone takes a life, each one of these, hanging, lethal injection, electrocution, gas chamber, fire squad, I guarantee you this right now, it should be used. So it's common sense, people. Like when you go about your everyday, unless you have that mindset in your mind to where I'm going to go out and kill someone, you don't need to be on the street. Like I said earlier, you're a danger to society. You cannot benefit by taking something that's cherished as life. Morally, it's wrong. It's in the Bible. Thou shalt not kill. But then people want to flip that on me and say, well, if you say it's in the Bible, thou shalt not kill, then why are you condoning taking another person's life? Because that goes right back to my topic of discussion. Eye for an eye. Like I said, I read the definition to you guys earlier. I mean, it speaks for itself. And matter of fact, this is actually in the Bible. I was told this and I didn't even know that. This is actually in the Bible. Even with certain states right now, even with like some of these states right here, they still institute certain things like far as the electric chair. Alabama, Florida, Kentucky. I think Mississippi fell back from it, but I'm not sure. Oklahoma, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Arkansas, they still use these things, people. They still use it. So in the back of your mind, ask yourself this right now. if you feel like I feel, and you feel like, you know what, Mike is onto something, because for this man to commit the crimes that he did, or this woman commit the crimes that she did, do I want to continue to pay for her to have, and I'm not necessarily saying they're getting a lavish luxury of lifestyle. I'm not saying that at all. It's just the fact that the people that they took, they're no longer here. Okay? A lot of people think that capital punishment should be abolished. Tell me your reason other than the fact that you don't like the methods that they use. If you can give me something that would justify that, then I will listen, and I may be like, you know what? You got a good point. But until then, people just like that, the evil people, the Charles Mansons, the David Koreshes, the Jeffrey Dahmers, the Timothy McVeighs, why would you let these people still breathe on this earth? Okay, that is a hard pill for me to swallow right now, because, like I said, life is something you should cherish, but it should never be taken away. When it's your time to go, people, let it come naturally. It shouldn't come by violence. It shouldn't come by someone who's confused with the fact that when I go out and I want to commit these atrocities, like I don't want people to sit there and feel bad for me, because obviously we've seen the emotions on some of these people. They can care less. They can care less about you. They can care less about me. They can care less about anything. And if they feel like they're being a martyr by committing all these murders, there's only one person that's judging us, man. There's only one person that's judging us. At the end of the day, you're going to be judged when it's your time to go. I don't feel like, you can sit there and just come at me with the information like, Mike, but this is morally wrong. God wouldn't condone a life. If you lose a life, you take a life. Okay, well, give me that same respect when you feel like this person walks out of this house with a gun and go kill 9 people for no particular reason. At the end of the day, we're all accountable. These 9 people that are up here right now, they didn't even know that would be the last time. When they saw this gentleman come in, he's not even a gentleman, he's a jerk. But when they saw this jerk come in, open their doors to this individual, that was the last time they will ever see life itself. Period. So do we want to condone the fact that these individuals are confused, they need help? Are we going to condone that? Or are we going to sit here and say, you know what? If you take a life, lose your life, then we will have closure for the families, for everyone that was affected, because it's evidently you didn't care about yours. So why should we care? It's evidently that you didn't care about their lives. So why should we care about yours? I'm not going to lose any sleep behind someone being put to death for something that they committed with the intent to be evil. You got what you was coming. It came. It's karma, people. It's karma. Okay. When you sit here and you do this and you just literally just totally disregard everything in life in general, it's going to come back to you and it's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. I wouldn't want to live in a prison for 99 years. I mean, some people may feel like that's a death sentence. I mean, granted, you're going to die in jail, but the fact that you don't care about someone that's going to be grieving during the holidays, the birthdays, how could you? Ask yourself that. That is like the most disrespectful thing you could do to someone when coming to the fact that you're evil and your intent is to make other people feel like I'm doing this for a cause. What was his particular cause? I don't even know. I just know it was hate. You cannot condone hate, people. You cannot condone hate. You cannot condone the fact that whatever someone has that don't agree with you, it doesn't have to result in someone losing their life. People lose their lives over the frivolous stuff day in, day out. Like I said, the serviceman that was killed by Mr. Atkins, he died over $60, people. $60. His mom grieves every day because his life was worth $60. Mr. Atkins, I know you have a life sentence right now, but you're one of the lucky ones. So are a lot of other people that committed murders and pretty much got away with it because they didn't want to see this or any of these sentences that are on the screen right now. You have your own power to do the right thing. All we have to do is just reach out and talk to everyone and have a better understanding on if you have a problem, get help. You can get help, people. You can get help. Reach out to someone, tell someone how you feel. Even get medication. Some of these people are going through things in their mind that they experienced when they were younger. I get that. Don't let that carry over to your adulthood and to the point to where you get to a point to where you feel like the only way you can lash out is doing evil deeds. I don't want to make it seem like I'm preaching to you, but it hurts to know that when someone loses a loved one, I experienced it. A lot of people on this segment, I know you probably experienced a loved one due to violence, but at the end of the day, I cannot condone someone's stupidity. I cannot condone someone who's being negligent, but most importantly, I cannot condone a person losing their life at the hands of another. Certain people may feel like, well, there was a situation, it was an article too. I didn't bring this up, but it was an article to where a prostitute killed her pimp. So you ought to ask me, Mike, she killed someone. Should she go and receive the death penalty? Certain stipulations, but at the end of the day, it still don't make it right. She was protecting herself from someone that was violent to her. Okay? I give her a pass. But for someone that orchestrates something to the point to where you take out a lot of people with one flick of a switch or one squeeze of a trigger, I can't give you that opportunity to say, you know what? Okay, just go to jail for 10, 15 years. I can't do it. In my heart, I know I can't do it. But some people feel like they can. Mr. Atkins, I condone your actions for you taking, first of all, I condone your actions for killing a service member. I'm a service member. I took offense to that. And even with your life sentence, you should be ashamed of yourself and you should be thankful that certain people gave you the opportunity to live on this earth because you didn't give the person you killed the opportunity to live on this earth. And you should walk every day knowing that you had that guilt on your heart, knowing that you took a child away from a mother, knowing that you took a child away from a father, knowing that you took a child away from their dad, knowing that you took a daughter away from a father. You're going to live with that for the rest of your life. There's an eternal place for people that do these crimes, and we all know what that is. It's one way down. I don't think that when we give these people the luxury of even saying their name, that's why I didn't want to say the guy from South Carolina, because I don't want to give him credit. I don't want to give him no credit at all. But we got to stop feeding into these guys like they are celebrities, because they're not. They're monsters. They're monsters, and they don't need to be in our society at all. So how do we solve the problem? We stick to what we believe in. We stick to what we put in place. We give our politicians the right to make these laws. Capital punishment, people, needs to stay. It is the most important thing when I feel like if I want the actual justice that I can get, I feel like I can get the justice that I can get. This is pretty much street justice versus judicial justice. When you get judicial justice, you're only getting 10, 15 years for committing a heinous crime. Street justice, I can tell you right now, that's karma. Some people may go through that in jail. Some people may kill someone and actually get out on the street and catch people slipping. I've heard of it. Like I said, I'll turn the other cheek because you had it coming. It's not my problem, but I have to protect my family along with myself. I have to protect my loved ones. Also, I have to protect people that I surround myself with. So do a lot of people that are in this country today. If you think that it's wrong for us to feel like capital punishment is inhumane, look at everybody that is in the grave right now due to violence. And ask yourself, do you feel the way I feel? Do you feel like, why are they living? Do you even feel like it's not even about, my personal belief is about the taxpayers, because that's big for me. But morally, do you feel like if a person took a life, do you feel like to get closer for you and yours, should they take theirs? I just don't know what to tell people if they don't feel any other way. But my whole premise of it is, you take a life, you lose a life. And if you take a life, you should lose your life. So with this, I'm about to get ready to go on to my final call. I'm about to give you my conclusion on tonight's subject. Tonight's subject is a very sensitive subject to me, but it's a very important subject to everyone that's listening to the show right now. I'm not trying to change your opinion on anything, people. I just want you to understand that the whole premise of this show is to get people to understand why we have certain things in place. Capital punishment is in place for a reason. It's not a form to sit here and just target people because we can. It's a platform to use to give people the information that they need in reference to you. If you commit something that heinous, this is what you're subjected to. I can't stress it enough. I support it. I hope they don't take it away. But every state has their own laws. Where I'm at, I don't know if they have the death penalty still in Virginia, but if they do, that's a thumbs up for me. Because we don't need people like that walking around. I don't feel safe if I know day in, day out, and I see it all the time, that I know that someone is out there has bad intentions for me, along with everyone else that may be viewing this show. Take that in consideration when you're thinking about that, and take that in consideration to the families that lost so many members due to violence. We can't just give people a slap on the wrist, people. We can't just say, you know what, give him 10 years, because in 10 years, he could be out again. And guess what? I'm from the old school. If you do something once, you'll do it twice. I don't want to give no one that luxury, knowing that at the end of the day, if you free from serving a 10, 20-year prison sentence for killing someone, the person that I lost got eternal grave. They're sleeping forever. I can't wake them up. I can't go and give them a hug. I can't tell them I love them. So for people to understand where I'm coming from with this topic and why I feel passionate toward capital punishment, understand this. Go out to any graveyard. You may not know why they died, but I guarantee you, most of the people in that graveyard died from violence. You see it every time on the news. Take that in consideration. Let that sink into your heart. Put yourself in a family's shoes that lost a loved one. It's hard, but we can make a difference. We can change. People don't change if they don't want to change. People don't care when they have no care in the world. So why should I? I don't care about the fact that someone is walking the streets after they committed a crime of murder to take a life. I don't care that you feel like you've been unjust. Like I said, you have the right to go to court, innocent until proven guilty. But when you're found guilty, take ownership. You took ownership of taking that life. Take ownership in what the consequences you are about to get. Because That's the choice you made. Those other people didn't make the choice of living or dying for no particular reason. They wanted to live a long life, but you stole that from them. It's crazy to understand why people try to give people that murder individuals a pass. I'm not going to give you one. You murder someone, you should get the same justice as you gave them. And your justice wasn't even legit. Your justice was cowardly. Your justice was cowardly and callous. So, again, with the topic, capital punishment, an eye for an eye, my whole words are, you take a life, you lose your life. Simple as that. Do the right thing. We all can do the right thing. We all can make a difference in life. But when you have someone that is tainted with hate and terror, if you can't contain them, you need to do away with them. Man, this is tough, man. This is a tough subject for me, man, because like I said, I'm tired of seeing death over and over again. It hurts me to the core to see certain people, matter of fact, not even certain people. It hurts me to the core to see people lose their lives for nothing. It's hard. Not even for a black man. It's hard for anyone. It's tough to see someone crying day in, day out, knowing that they will never see their loved one ever. And when you do that, you stole the most precious thing on this planet, life. Ask yourself that question before you think about doing something that you will regret for the rest of your life. Ask yourself, is it the right thing to do, what I'm about to commit right now? Can you pull back and go about things in a different perspective? Ask yourself, you have a conscience. Make the right decision. Don't ever take a life. Never take a life, but make sure that when people see you take a life, someone is going to want you to take yours. You stole from someone. Be accountable for your own actions. Capital punishment is here to stay, and I hope it stays forever. That's my show, guys. You can check me out next week. I'm going to do another segment on heavy hitters, but for the most part, I thank you for watching this show. I appreciate you. I want you to stay safe and get at me next week. New topic on heavy hitters. Y'all take it easy, man. Be safe out there.